Welcome to Sweeping the Country. I'm your host, Derek Walker. My co-host, Mr. Jimmy Carter extraordinaire. And hello, Jimmy. How are you?
I'm doing okay. You know, we're in this weird part of winter where poor Los Angeles and California's drowning. I mean, they're just washing down hills and mudslides, and this is the weirdest winter for them. Very wet winter.
Yes,
and
strange.
Then we hit 30 degrees the other day in the middle of the South, but not much of a winter.
Yeah.
And I don't know, but I don't think you guys have particularly had a bad winter.
We really haven't. We really haven't. We have a ski trip planned for, what's the big one? Sun Valley. That some friends of mine are coming out from California, but there's more snow in California than there is in Sun Valley. So we're like, oh, my God. But, yeah, it's been a very weak winter.
It's just a strange year.
It almost feels like
it's
spring.
It's a strange year for everything. Strange year for politics.
Yeah.
Strange year for weather. Just strange year. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are just undecided about where everything is going.
I would agree.
You don't really, you don't know whether to go left or right. You know, I mean, we're in tax season too, which also it's just a
thanks for the reminder. Appreciate that.
Yeah, I spent an hour or so kind of getting things in order for that today.
Yeah.
But it's just unpleasant.
It is
unpleasant.
It is. I got to do it.
And you cut the news on, and it's unpleasant.
It's unpleasant. I mean,
you go to a restaurant, it's unpleasant. I mean, but I'm telling you, for as little money as for whatever's going on in the economy, try to get into a restaurant. It's hard to get into a restaurant a lot of times.
I just went to get a haircut. I went to get a haircut today. It was a 1 hour wait at I think it's called the men's locker room.
It's a holiday. We're doing this on Washington's in Lincoln's birthday.
Yeah, well, this is how we celebrate.
I couldn't get into any restaurant.
That's why, maybe, huh?
I had to do a drive up, and I got a milkshake.
Yeah, yeah.
For lunch, and I didn't plan to kind of get something a little better than that.
Yeah.
But that's all I could get because everybody's off, or people are. I think one thing that's happening is that people are off because these corporations are not giving out raises; they're giving off time.
Yeah, which is okay.
Some things that shouldn't be closed, radio stations that shouldn't be closed are. And media operations that should be open are not.
Yeah,
and it's just because they're just trying to give the people more time off.
You remember back in the day, I mean, radio stations, there were no holidays. You were in the entertainment
I went in
business.
on Christmas morning for the death of James Brown.
Yeah,
I mean,
sure.
For TV, I was there at 7 or 6:30 or whenever it was for that. And no, you didn't take. I did news. As regular newscast on Christmas mornings before.
Yeah.
And then went home to eat, or went home at some point, but I remember working.
Yeah, I worked all the holidays too, and I remember getting told, hey, this is the entertainment business. This is what we do. We have to be there. If there's an emergency, we have to be there, and we were.
But see, somebody turned that off because they don't do that anymore.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, no one's live, and it's self-defeating because it's going to put them all out of business.
Yeah, it is interesting. I mean, it really is interesting.
It's going to put them all out of business because that was one of the big things worthwhile that radio did was a companion, and it was there live because it told you what news. You weren't going to miss anything if you had the radio on.
That's right.
And then somewhere along the way, they changed that up, and it's just the world we live in now.
It is, and if you look at Yahoo, I don't know about AP News, but any of the other, and I use Yahoo loosely as a news agency, but when you look at some of the stories, they don't work on the holidays either. You see the same story just recirculate.
One thing you're not seeing anymore, and since I'm digging for news like a dog for a bone every day, is you're not seeing the feature stories you used to see. You're not even seeing the weirdo stories, like man bites dog stories.
Right.
You're not even seeing those anymore because everybody's been canned at the newspaper, at the wire service, at the TV station, at the radio station.
Let me ask you something because
they're barely keeping on, really.
You're knee deep in all this stuff, but I was at a fundraiser a while back, and we were there just to kind of drum up, not advertising. It was a free thing. We were just there volunteering, and one of the news agencies showed up, and she was by herself. I won't say who it is or what channel. Doesn't matter. But she was by herself. There was nobody filming her. She had a tripod.
No, she called one-man band.
Yeah, and she set up a tripod with her phone, and that had a little light on it and everything, and she just set it up, and then she did the broadcast, I guess. I don't know if it was live or they canned it or what they did. Is that how they're doing it now? Is there somebody back at the studio that are putting this all together or what?
No, they're barely putting it all together. There's one-man bands
Yeah.
that are these reporters. They got a name for them, something journalist.
Yeah.
But it's what they're teaching them even in college. That's backwards. I mean, it's not better. It's just there. I mean,
Yeah.
the better work was when you had 7 people.
Yeah, sure.
You
You
know,
had a
when you
cameraman and
you had the reporter, you had the sound guy, so the sound was always right.
Mhm.
You had a lighting guy, so the lighting was always right. You had a camera guy.
Yeah.
It was, there. You're always right. So, I mean, I worked for like New York City. We were out in New York roaming around shooting different things on the fly. So we had me. I had a field producer that was help me do stuff. We had a sound guy. We had a light guy, and we had a camera guy.
And
5 people.
They just don't roll like that anymore. I mean, I rarely see it.
Now, it's just half-assed is what it is.
Yeah.
I mean, it can be done, and you can watch it. You can. It gets done,
Mhm.
but it's not better.
Yeah.
I mean, it's certainly not better because one person can do those jobs, but you can't do them well.
Yeah. That's
And
interesting.
you can't do them. It's a shame.
Yeah.
But you see it all over. You see it. I mean, like I ordered a quarter pounder last night, and at McDonald's, and I got back. It was nowhere. It might have been a third of a pounder or something. It was maybe a fifth of a pounder. Maybe that's what it was.
Yeah.
But it's shrink. What do they call it? Shrinkflation.
Yeah, right.
That the size of the things are smaller.
Right. Less chips in the bag, all that stuff. Yeah.
Yeah,
Right.
it's all that stuff. So that's going. We're in a weird time, and everybody's completely weirded out on the presidential election.
It is.
Completely weirded out.
I gotta say, it is.
Because no one likes their choice. No, nobody. If you do like your choice, you're the one that needs to get something checked on.
Yeah.
I mean, you may vote for whoever it is you're going to vote for, and that's fine.
Mhm.
But if you're thrilled about it,
I don't. I just don't see it.
That are saying, I think, do not like either one. They might like what this person stands for, but in reality, frankly, they're too old. And they're
I agree.
they don't need to be doing this the way it needs to be done. So
Yeah. I just wonder, and we've talked about this before, but I just wonder, you always vote for the lesser of two evils. I have done that since I've been alive, right? I never.
Or you don't go vote at all.
Or there's that. But I just feel like
some people choose to.
For some reason, and I have, a candidate in the hunt that I will lean toward, obviously. You will do that based on your own beliefs and what you want out of this group that's going into office. But I'm perplexed by the fact that we have no other options than Donald Trump and Joe Biden. I feel like that is the weakest group of people we can put
their
up.
personalities are so strong.
Yeah,
I mean, they had a chance. I mean, there were people that were running and they got all kicked out.
Yeah, I mean, what is it though? I mean, we just have do people not want to run that are brilliant? I mean, even on the local scale, you don't see the young people getting into politics as much as they used to. And so we end up with these crusty old figurines like we have now that really are just pawns, but that's all we got. There's no other choice. I mean, I remember Ross Perot, and you remember all those guys that were running it back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And they would come to the table and get things on an even keel at least, right? I mean, get everybody headed the right way, but not anymore. I mean, we just got nothing. We got no great choices.
But then you see across the pond, people like Putin who's doing old Soviet Unions. This is old Stalin stuff, old Khrushchev stuff.
Yeah.
We're over there. People you don't like him, he kills them.
Yeah.
And if you're out there mourning the death of those people, we're going to knock you out too. He was taking out people that were putting flowers on signs and stuff.
Yeah, he has no shame. I don't know why they try to hide behind. We don't know what happened.
And
it
then
just happened.
And then you've had. Oh man, this was crazy. Nashville. I think we'd say 20 something. I don't know. At least 20.
Yeah.
Maybe a few more Nazis walking down the street.
Oh, I saw a flash of that. What was that about? I mean, was that something?
They were mad. They're protesting. I mean, I couldn't even stand to read the story, but I just saw that they were white supremacists and just awful.
Somebody challenged them, and
I mean,
ran
wow,
out.
how crazy are these things gotten? When you've got Nashville Nazis, and then
Nashville hot chicken, that's good. Nashville hot chicken, but Nashville Nazis,
and then
not
you got
good.
it's just and then the music is crazy these days. You look at these Grammys and look at
That's true.
country music, particularly, it's a mess. and they're all fighting over whether or not you're going to run Jelly Roll this week. Are we going to run Beyonce this week? Oh, we don't need a George Strait record. That's bad.
Yeah, we're
Let's
talking
get
about
down
country.
to Jelly Roll, and all this stuff for the countryside, and postmortem, whatever his name is on the other side, on the pop side.
Yeah.
Postmortem, is that his name?
I don't know. I don't follow it very
Post Malone,
well.
that's it. Post Malone.
Oh, the guy that did
not
the
Postmortem.
American Beautiful. Hey, that was good. His performance at the Super Bowl was good. Did you watch that yet? He did a nice job.
I heard him. He was all right. I can't
good.
get past looking at him.
Hey, going back to Putin for a second, we might have now another Cold War because he's talking about putting a nuclear weapon in space. And I look at that and I think,
but we may have we can match that. That's just a lot of honky tonk. We got lasers that can do all kinds of stuff.
Yeah,
we're not complete idiots. I don't think. I hope not.
I mean,
I think
we've
got things. I think we got things that are pretty scary.
Yeah. Oh, I hope you're right. I mean, that's one thing I always think about. Did the military stay staunch enough? And if it did, great. I'm happy about it. But when I see him flexing his muscles again, I'm thinking I don't want to go back to that Cold War time when everybody was afraid of the nuclear weapons, right? And we all had, should we get a bunker back in the day? That was the thing. I mean, that was my grandparents. It was a bunker in the ground. And the fear, and I just hate that.
Well, we're not using the weapons that we have, and that's the nuclear weapons are terrible. And obviously they're effective, but no one's going to wants to use one. They're not going to use one. No one should use one, and hopefully that's what the deterrent keeps us safe.
Yeah.
But we have other weapons that are less than, and that's what I kept thinking we'd see in Ukraine. Kept talking about we might see tactical nuclear, which would be just a little bit of one that's only bad for like a mile or two or something.
Yeah, I don't know. We haven't seen that yet.
That never happened because you can't do it. I mean, if you do it, then you Katie barred the door.
Right.
You've really opened up. So he wasn't that. Putin wasn't that stupid.
Yeah, I don't know.
But a lot of people, and we don't want to unveil everything we've got from our laser technology to those EMF bombs. That you drop one and all the power grid and everything else goes down.
Right.
We've got that. We've got that stuff and had it. We don't want to be the first to put that out there.
Well, no, I mean it's chaos. You do something like that, or a nuke in space that wipes out satellites. It's chaos. I mean, we got no.
You've turned into a whole nother ball game. So
yeah, no doubt.
It's just we just live in strange times.
We do,
and you just wonder, where it's all going. The worship of Taylor Swift.
Whew, boy,
there's something odd about that. Actually,
do you think people just want to cling to something good or wholesome?
Maybe
or
that's
something?
it. Maybe, or in that case, mostly women, though.
Yeah, true.
In this case of Taylor Swift.
Yeah, true.
But you just, you'd feel like there's a hole somewhere.
Yeah,
and she's filling it.
Yeah, I agree. I 100% agree. It's very.
But I don't know what the hole is, and I don't know what it is. But there is a hole that's being filled. The Beatle thing, which was the last time there's BTS.
Yeah,
and there's always been some boy group, NSYNC, New Kids on the Block. There's always been that phenomenon. It's nothing to do. But this thing is big. This Taylor, that's on steroids.
It is.
That type of fan worship.
It is. I feel like there was a time when Michael Jackson was close to that.
Yeah, he was big. I went and saw him at Wembley Stadium in London and paid a lot of money.
Yeah.
And it was a great show. Show.
Yeah.
But, these folks are making beads and costumes and, and just take it to a whole nother level.
Yeah, it's definitely there's a vacuum that she's filling, and people are lined up for it. They're just lined up.
It's just like the
it.
more things the more things you don't understand anymore.
That is true.
Whether it's the Taylor Swift thing, or whether, what the direction our country is headed in.
Yeah.
The immigration thing. You read from Congressional Budget Office, they say it's going to be a good thing because we need these people for work because they work for less and all that stuff. Well, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I don't know the answer. And then going back to Taylor for just a second, Jimmy, I swear, if she ran for president right now, she'd win. She would win.
I know.
I mean, which is nuts.
That's why they're all trying to court her because she is liberal.
Yeah, true.
And they're trying to get her to say it out loud.
Yeah, she has.
So that her army of people, and she might if she thinks it's close. and she had to sway it one way or the other, she'd do it.
Yeah, she's spoken out a little bit before. I mean, that's how we know
A little bit before.
she leans left a bit. But
Yeah.
but I mean, it's scary. It's like a Pied Piper scary. I remember one time asking Garth Brooks that because he had such a cult following or worldwide following, and I said, You're like the Pied Piper of country music. You know, wherever you go, people follow you. Why? And he goes, I have no idea. I really don't know. But he goes, I'm glad I'm popular, but I don't know why I am. And I wonder if she knows. I mean, nobody seems to know why she's so I mean, I'm going to be straight, and people are going to get mad that I say this, but I'm just going to say it. I just don't think she can sing all that well. I mean, if you put her up against Mariah Carey or Whitney Houston or something like that, it's not even close. No, I mean,
it's not about that somehow.
It's about that. Yeah.
It's about the lyrics to her songs. It's
okay, fair enough. Yeah.
It's about the message that she's putting out.
It just doesn't talk to me. I'm a dude, so I don't,
Right, she's not talking to you.
Yeah, she's not talking to me. All right, fair enough.
And she may screw her franchise all up messing with this Travis Kelce.
Yeah, I hope not. I mean, he might be bad blood there. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I mean, his little incident on the sideline at the Super Bowl didn't help the cause. And I bet you, behind the scenes, she said, you got to apologize. I bet she said it.
Well, they both gave $100,000 the other day to different things involved with that Kansas City shooting.
That's nice. Was crazy. I mean, that was nice. I think that's
the good thing when you got a lot of money like they do. You can do nice things for people.
Fair.
Like to see that.
Yeah.
But, I think time for pitchers and catchers to report for baseball.
Yeah, here we go. Spring training right around the corner. And
we're not far away. And I'm all about spring except for the allergies.
Yeah, so, yeah. It feels like
I don't know. I just think it's just weird this week. It just felt that lost feeling of not trying to figure out what direction are we all going in.
Right.
And it just seems weird. It seems like we're at a crossroads, but we don't know which way to go. But we think we're going to learn by the time we get to the intersection.
I think you're right about that. Everything you just said, and I also think we all have, not all of us, but there are several camps within the country, within the world, because it's a worldwide thing now. Everybody's connected worldwide. But I just think we all have different ideas of where we should be going. I don't even think as a country we're on the same page anymore, where it's, this is how we should behave. This is what we should do. I mean, the whole thing with NATO right now is kind of snowballing with,
just say even the Ukraine thing, you would think if you had to guess that the blue side, the Democrats, would be anti-war, anti-military.
Yeah.
And then the Republicans would be pro-military and for any kind of war.
Right, yeah.
Any kind of fight.
Sure, yeah.
And it's the opposite of that.
Yeah, historically, you're right on the money, but you're right now. It is opposite.
Weird.
And it's strange.
And so that's weird. And then on the border thing, no one really knows what that's all about. You can't believe anybody in their right mind would have said that's okay. And then why wouldn't Trump say it's a bad thing that the guy died in prison? He refuses to talk about that.
I don't know either.
What's that about? You would think that he'd be all about bashing Putin. And I understand maybe what he's coming from is that you get more, what do you call it? You get more bees with sugar than you would with salt or something.
Well, yeah, right.
And so maybe he think there's some kind of deal, if he's not mean talking to Putin, he'll get more out of him when the time comes.
I mean, you're right. He recently also said something to the effect that if these countries in NATO aren't pitching in their fair share, then Putin should have his way, do what he wants. If we're not going to help.
Yeah, that was
strange
I think
too.
That was over the top. And I mean, I think people ought to pay their bills.
Yeah.
And if not, sometimes they come and confiscate your car. If you don't pay your car note, at some point they're going to confiscate your car. And that's basically what he was trying to say.
I think you're right.
But he didn't say it very well.
I think you're right. I think the intention was, hey, everybody, pay your fair share and we'll all work together.
There's consequences for repossession. There's a lot of consequences if you don't pay what you're supposed to pay.
Yeah.
So
right.
with NATO, what are the consequences? Well, maybe you get invaded and maybe we don't come help you.
Yeah, maybe we loan you the money if we help you and you pay us back. Maybe we do something like that. I don't know. I don't know the answer, but I
don't know. But it was odd, and he comes up with the craziest stuff sometimes.
Yeah, he
selling
does.
tennis shoes and
what was that? What was
Joe
that?
Biden? He is just. It's just sad to watch him do anything.
It is, and it's
It's
also
terrible. We need a youthful something.
yeah.
In
I
our
agree.
in our running our country with
I agree, but
something that's.
I just don't see any young people stepping up. I don't see any young people. I mean, I'm sure they're out there. I'm sure they're out there.
There may be, and there probably are some good governors out there.
Yeah, maybe so.
That know what they're doing. I think there are.
Mm-hmm.
But again, Trump is so good at destroying anybody that comes against him.
He is. I mean, and he's
Jimmy, Bimmy, Bo, Bimmy. He'll make up something about you.
Yeah, and he's been doing it for a long time. I mean, since
it really works too.
It does. And he knows it works. I read the book he wrote many years ago called The Art of the Deal. Yeah. And in that book, he talks about how to break down your opponent and how to negotiate and all this stuff. And whether it's him or he's, using somebody else's plan or business idea, it has worked. It's worked. And sometimes
he knows how to break down the opposition.
Yeah.
And then on the other side, they are so good about getting out to vote, about having people vote early.
Boy, they are.
And all of that, because that's why they won in New York the other day. There was a snowstorm.
Yeah.
And Republicans were waiting. They could never get out to go vote.
Hey.
So the Democrats had already voted. So there you go.
Yeah. I mean, they definitely have that. I just wish both sides would push somebody out in front that we could choose from that wasn't 150 years old. And I'm joking about that. Obviously, they're not. But they're old. And you just said something. We get this reputation, and you're a little older than I am, but we're both in that same era. And we get this reputation of, we're old, crotchety, we don't understand what's going on, and this kind of thing. We do understand. We both understand very well what's going on. And you just said something that a lot of people don't think older people would even consider, and that is, we need some young blood. You just said that. I agree with you 100%. They're quick, they're smart, they got new ideas, they understand the tech world we're living in, and I also want some new blood. I would like to see some new people get out there and run for these offices, the younger people, and get involved in the country you live in so that there is a future for the grandkids or the kids or whatever, so that we can continue to live in a country that's free, a capitalist, democratic country, because it's worked pretty good so far.
Yeah, I don't know how you get rid of nastiness in politics, because it's so nasty.
Yeah, it is.
On both sides,
no
matter what you're doing.
And it has been for a long time.
And it's portrayed that way. Even on the TV show Chicago Fire, they were doing an election of how, he's just a firefighter that was running for alderman. And the alderman was, so pulling all kinds of strings and looking up the fact that his mother did something bad. And so, you got to have such a crystal clear,
Past.
beginning.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. They're finding stuff online when you were 14 years old that you posted.
Or
or whatever, and it comes back to bite you. But maybe that's it. Maybe you just hit the nail on the head with people don't want to get drugged through the mud. Maybe that's it.
They don't want to be drugged through the mud. But there's got to be some answers, and somebody will have some somewhere.
Yeah.
I mean, there's always something that comes up, but we'll see.
Yeah.
But it just finds me in a weird place here at the end of. It's not really the end of winter, but it feels like it's getting more light in the afternoon and that type of thing.
Yeah, for sure. For sure.
Super Bowl's over, and
here comes baseball, baby. And for whatever reason, maybe people will latch on to baseball like they did Taylor Swift. We don't know. I doubt it.
No. Meanwhile, she's in Australia.
Did she go down there?
She's in Sydney this week.
God,
she's in Sydney this week. She was in Melbourne.
Man.
And Melbourne. And then she goes to Singapore after that.
That's some energy right there. When you're doing shows like that all over the world, you are pushing the envelope.
She's got it.
Yeah, that's why we need the young blood. we need the people to start, the younger people to step up. They have more energy than you and I do.
And look at our opposition is old too, though.
Yeah, you're right.
Putin is old. I don't remember how old he is, but he's old.
How old is he? He's got to be. I'm just curious.
Hey, Alexa, how old is Vladimir Putin?
Vladimir Putin is 71 years old.
Oh,
71.
God. He's a lot younger than our official.
Yeah. Yeah.
Got him by a decade.
Yeah.
How old's Trump? 78? Is he
something like that?
Yeah. Well, yeah. Hopefully we get some new blood in there, and hopefully we make the right choices. And who knows? Maybe the Democrats parade somebody else out there before the election. I don't know. I mean, I don't know how.
I was reading it said it's not really the system is such that Biden controls it because of the way that it's set up with the super delegates. And as long as he wants the job,
he's going to keep it. Yeah. Fascinating. Well, that's going to do it for us this week on Sweeping the Country. As always, Jimmy, entertaining, enlightening, and I think everybody's feeling the same thing you are. Until next week when we do this all again on your Monday, make sure you go back and you listen to some of our back episodes. We got some great Vault episodes with some superstars like Tom Cruise and all kinds of Sean Connery, Michelle Pfeiffer. They're wonderful. And Jimmy, again, appreciate you coming on and doing this. And until next week when we do it all again, I'm Derek Walker. He is...
I'm Jimmy Carter.
Good day.
Good day.